Walter's having a blast, dancing on the surface of the Atlantic Ocean in the bright sun. Waves bounce against him, and the other water molecules, and the salt molecules, and all the other molecules. A gust of wind carries his buddies into a drop of spray, and they shriek wildly as they drop plop back into the water. Walter reaches the peak of another wave. But this time, the water molecules don't hang together. The warm sunlight gives them a big boost of energy, and each of them go flying off like a balloon set loose. Walter is now part of a wild party of molecules dancing in the air. Oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and other molecules rising higher and higher. The winds take Walter to the west. Floating in the sky, Walter looks down on the beach, where the waves roar. He is way up now, far above the roads. He can see the broad river valley. The winds keep taking him higher and higher, but it is getting colder now, and he has lost some of his energy. He rests against the particle of dust floating. Other molecules are doing the same thing. Looking down, he sees everything crowded tiny. He has become a cloud. More water molecules pile onto Walter, making him bigger and heavier. The wind can't keep him up anymore, so he starts to fall, faster and faster. He zips past the other molecules, racing towards the ground, and splat! Hits the ground, and all his smaller droplets splash off. The droplets bounce down and settle down. Some slip between the leaves on the floor. Some slip to the soil beneath, off to explore underground. And some combine with the streams and brooks and creeks. Walter is falling over a large flat rock when he begins to pick up speed. He is falling faster and faster again and falls right into a spinning whirlpool. He flies off into the air again and falls onto a waterfall and splat hits the bottom of the rapids. He has reached the flatlands at the foot of the Catskill Mountains and begins to slow down. He relaxes, wondering what lies ahead. Walter relaxes, lulled by the lazy current of the river. He is about to take a nap when a large, dark shadow looms before him. Next to him, sucked into the gaping fish. Before he has time to blink, Walter is pushed past the fish's gills, scales, and fins as the great fish swims on. Walter has reached the Hudson River. He notices the Hudson behaves oddly for a river. It keeps reversing direction. Twice a day it flows back towards the mountains. At the same time, it rises and falls. Walter realizes this is the motion of the tides, the same tides he felt in the ocean. He also sees a fish he remembers from the sea, swimming around. Where are all the salt molecules, he asks himself. It takes time to answer this question. Drifting for 6 hours north and then 6 hours south, Walter doesn't seem to be going anywhere. But as the days pass, he notices he drifts further and further south than he does north. Eventually, he reaches the steep mountains and they crowd against the river, where he starts to see more salt molecules. Eventually, he comes up to the steep mountains and he starts to drift towards the Atlantic Ocean, where he sees the great city with tall buildings. Walter knows the ocean isn't far away. He sees seahorses and flounders swimming past him. Sure enough, land is far behind, and the tall buildings disappear over the horizon. Walter is back among the ocean waves, sparkling in the bright sun. He just starts to wonder what his next adventure might be when a huge shape appears. It's bigger, much bigger than the fish in the creek. Just as Walter realizes he's on top of a whale, the great animal exhales. It spouts him upwards, and he finds himself floating in the air again. But this time, the wind is blowing him east, heading over the Atlantic Ocean. And Walter says,
Oh, maybe I'll make it to Mexico.